Hello, and welcome to The Cave. This is my 2D platformer game, and also my first ever experience in making a game. The Cave is based primarily on the themes of Plato's Allegory of the Cave, with the player starting out as a quote-unquote shadow on the wall. The main story aspect that I was trying to get across was this idea that you're living in an illusion, but what happens when you glimpse past it? In this first room, I'm mainly providing the space for the player to learn the controls of the game. There are two hazards that both demonstrate the respawn mechanic, and provide feedback to the player that will encourage them to learn an important aspect to Cosmo's movement. The first major obstacle is a box that you can't just jump on top of. This is here to show the player they can wall jump. From there, we have two floating platforms and the exit to the room above. This next room introduces both checkpoints and the diamond. This room is designed in a way that the player has a chance to learn what the diamond does before actually using it later in order to reach the next checkpoint. This diamond mechanic took the most effort and thought out of any aspect of the game. The diamond is Cosmo's inciting incident in the story. Narratively, the diamond breaks the illusion and begins the mystery. When Cosmo collects a diamond, the screen zooms out and his true self is displayed for half a second. During this time, Cosmo gains the ability to jump once on thin air. If his shadow dies when Cosmo's true self is revealed, he's still tied to it, because the illusion that he is dead still overpowers the truth in his head. The next room is essentially just a simple check if the player has actually learned that their jump has variable height depending on if they hold down the key or not. In this room, the difficulty is cranked up a bit. The main story of this first section of the room is in the player gaining knowledge of a safe space to land after they die. The second half of the room is a narrow wall jump to land on a different wall. From there on, it's a small leap to the next checkpoint. So here, I just want the player to do a long jump over to that wall. Just like that. Now we have the final challenge. First, there's an epic double jump that uses the diamond mechanic to cross an otherwise impossible gap, assuming you stop before running into the spikes on the right. Next, the player must chain diamond jumps to climb in the air until they jump to a safe section of the wall and get on top of the platform. These diamond chain jumps are actually pretty difficult. Finally, there's a narrow gap surrounded by spikes that close in where the player must land safely on the ground below. Finally entering the mysterious temple. In this temple, there's a staircase to provide a sense of grandeur towards the light on a pedestal in the middle of the room. When the player touches the light, the illusion is broken, and Cosmo is revealed indefinitely. At this point, the game has no more challenges. There's a pit lit by torches at the bottom of the screen that when the player eventually falls into it, well, you'll see. This is the final room in the game. The goal of this room was to break all of the rules of the world the player has grown accustomed to, and show the truth. This is when the curtains are thrown open, and though it is uncomfortable, the truth frees Cosmo.